start is loud. What is going on, guys? Riley here. Today we're going to go over the main differences when choosing between a Dodge Challenger Hellcat and a Dodge Charger Hellcat. Now, for the most part, they are pretty much the same car. However, the Charger obviously has 2 extra doors and a full-sized back seat. But in this video, I will share with you guys a few minor differences that really stand out as an owner when kind of choosing between a Challenger or Charger. This is coming from somebody who's owned 2 Chargers previously, and now this is my first Challenger. However, first, we have to hit this back road. Now, before I share with you guys some of the main differences between the Charger and Challenger after owning both, first I want to talk about a few things that really surprised me about this car that I didn't really expect or think I would find to like before I bought it. First off, the most important aspect about the Challenger is that before I bought this car, I was a little bit worried that, you know, it is a 2-door car. It's a big 2-door car, but I was still kind of worried about the daily driver aspect of it. You know, can I really daily drive a 700 horsepower 2-door, 2-seater pretty much car? And honestly, after putting almost 5,000 miles on this thing, I absolutely love it. I daily drive this thing. It's been great. It's really one of those things that really has stood out to me as an owner about, wow, this can be done and it's really comfortable, that you can still go out and have fun with it. It really has turned into pretty much the perfect car for me. So no, it doesn't have a full-size back seat, doesn't have 4 doors, but it still is really a practical car, all things considered. Oh my gosh. All right, that's enough playtime. Let's go ahead and get out of the car and we'll go over some of the differences. All right, so the first thing I want to do is talk about some of the facts between the Charger and the Challenger. So we'll start this off by saying that the Challenger Hellcat is cheaper than the Charger Hellcat. So if you're looking to buy one of these and let's say you're just trying to barely squeeze by, then probably the Challenger is the best bet for you. Although with that, I will add that the Charger does hold its resale value better than the Challenger. So you kind of have to pick and choose. Do you want to pay less at the very beginning, or do you want to get more out of your car when it's time to sell it? Now, in terms of straight line performance, which one is faster? Well, the Charger does have a higher top speed at, I think it's 204 miles per hour, while the Challenger is only at a measly 199 or 198. So this thing basically is like the aerodynamics of a brick. The Charger, on the other hand, is basically a brick with rounded edges. So, you know, you pick and choose there. But most of you are probably not doing top speed runs with your cars, and therefore the Challenger is probably the better choice if you're going to be doing a lot of racing with it, since it is about 140 pounds lighter than the Charger. So generally these are faster 0 to 60 and in the quarter mile, not by much, but just barely. However, if you're going to spend all your time doing a bunch of highway racing and top speed runs, well, I guess the Charger is the right one for you. So now that we have some factual differences between the Charger and the Challenger, let's go ahead and talk about some of the things that I have found after owning both of them to be, you know, the pros and cons of both. For whatever reason, the Dodge Challenger does not scrape going over inclines nearly as much as the Charger. As you can see, there's actually a pretty good amount of space there. But feeling under here, I really don't feel any scrapes, and I can't think of a time where I have scraped with this thing. So that's really impressive. However, with my Scat Pack Charger, I did scrape a lot in that thing. So I guess it's just the way the front bumper is in the Charger. It tends to just kind of catch on more things. So that's one little difference. The Hellcat Challenger does come standard with the, I believe it's an 18 speaker Harman Kardon sound system. which also includes the 2 subwoofers here in the trunk. In my opinion, the gauges here in the Challenger do look a little bit better than the Charger. Here's a clip of what the Chargers look like. More standard looking gauges, while these are like very retro, and as you can kind of see through there, they're, I don't know, they're cool. So I've always really liked the Challenger gauges. I really think they look cool. And another thing that I really like about this car is the seating position feels a lot better than the Charger. The Charger is more of a, you kind of sit more upright in that car and everything's just kind of laid out more flat. While here in the Challenger, everything's really angled at the driver, and the way the seating position is, it feels like a more sporty car, if that makes sense. So once again, it's kind of one of those things, you got to pick and choose, what are you using the car for? If you're primarily using it to be your fast daily driver with kids and stuff in the back, Charger's probably the best bet since, well, back seat's not that great. Works pretty good for a helmet though. But if you're wanting the more sporty option, I guess you would call it, then probably the Challenger is what you'd want to go with. One other thing that I don't like about the Challenger though, I want to show you. So here with the key fob, I'm going to go ahead and unlock the trunk. And as you can see, it only opens about an inch, and then you have to come lift it yourself. And then when you close it, there's no grab handle anywhere. So you have to either grab one of the taillights or the spoiler or wherever you want. I usually just grab the spoiler, and then you close it. Whereas with the Charger, when you press the key or any of the options to open the trunk, it opens automatically, and there's also a little grab handle where you can close it. Just kind of one of those things that's a little bit nicer about the Charger. Something else that might mean a lot to some people is that this thing back here, you can have a 6-speed manual, whereas in the Charger, unfortunately, you cannot get a manual. You're stuck with the 8-speed auto, which is not a bad thing by any means. I love my 8-speed. Something else that might make a difference to some people is that really the Challenger looks very similar to what it looked like in 2008 when it was re-released. Now the Charger looks a whole lot different compared to when it first came out. So it kind of depends. Do you want the more retro styling that hasn't really gone through too many changes, or do you want a pretty much whole different new car? Now the reason I make this video is because since I got the Challenger, I have been asked the question well over 100 times of what's better, the Charger or the Challenger, since I have owned both. Honestly, you can't really pick a favorite because they're kind of 2 different cars. They both have their pros and cons. Also, the answer kind of depends what you're going to be using the car for. If you have a family, I would say hands down get the Charger. It's got the back seat, a little bit easier to live with on a daily basis. But if you're somebody like me who doesn't have kids and the girlfriend really doesn't care what car you drive, well, Challenger's a pretty good option as well. As I said at the beginning of this video, this car really did turn into a better daily driver than I thought it would. I really didn't think going into it was very practical to be daily driving a car with 707 horsepower, but turns out it's been great. So that's my viewpoint on the Challenger versus Charger thing. However, I will say if you're looking to buy a Scat Pack, I do think the Scat Pack Charger is a better bang for your buck. You do get more options with a Charger Scat Pack than you do with a Challenger Scat Pack. So just kind of something to keep in mind when you're comparing the two. If you haven't already, be sure to check out my video where I basically talked about why I bought a Charger Scat Pack instead of the Challenger Scat Pack. I posted that video probably like 2 years ago when I first got my Charger Scat Pack, and to this day I still think most of those, or pretty much all of those things I said in that video hold true. But if you're looking to buy an RT or a V6 or anything else that I've missed, an SRT, what have you, the choice is really up to you. It just kind of depends. What are you going to use it for? But from somebody who has owned both, they're both extremely good cars. It's kind of incredible what Dodge has been able to do by making such big cars go so fast and also be, you know, so daily friendly and just have all the nice amenities that you would hope to find in a car with, you know, this one like a $70,000 MSRP. So they really didn't lack out on anything. Maybe that's why the cars weigh so much. But let me know down below in the comments, what do you think is a better buy, the Charger or the Challenger? And let me know why. I actually posted a Instagram poll not too long ago asking people what would they rather have, a Charger Hellcat or a Challenger Hellcat? And I believe it was 54 or 56% of people said they'd rather have the Charger, which I would say that's a pretty reasonable number considering it is a more reasonable car. But that's what my Instagram followers said, so I'd like to hear from my YouTube subscribers. What do you guys think, Charger or Challenger? I know this video may be a bit redundant to some of you who have been around for a long time. However, I have had a lot of recent growth in subscribers of people just, you know, asking the question, hey, what's better? Why did you get this? Just, you know, generally curious about some things. So figured I'd make this video to kind of sum everything up and obviously just do a nice little walk around of the car, looking real nice here. I've got a few new parts coming in for this thing very shortly, so those will be some fun videos ahead. But thank you guys for watching this video, and I will see y'all in the next one. Take it easy.